In the small, peaceful village of Ilupaju, everyone knew Aunty Buky. With her warm smile and generosity, she was the woman who helped everyone, always there in times of need. Aunty Buky ran a small shop where she sold herbal remedies, and people from all over trusted her advice on health matters. To many, she was like a healer, someone who had the answers to all their problems. But there was a darker side to Aunty Buky that no one in the village knew about. Hidden under her cheerful exterior was a secret that would send chills down anyone's spine. Unknown to the villagers, Aunty Buky was involved in something sinister, something that would change everything when it came to light. Aunty Buky's shop was not just a place for herbs, it was also a cover for a more disturbing business. In the dead of night, when everyone was asleep, she would receive strange visitors from the city, people who whispered quietly and always left with something hidden under their cloaks. No one questioned Aunty Buky, for she was trusted and respected. Even the village chief would sometimes come to her for advice, which made her appear even more innocent. But beneath her gentle appearance lay a deep secret. Aunty Buky was trading in human parts. And while no one suspected anything, a young boy named Ade was about to stumble upon the truth. Ade was 12 years old, a curious and adventurous boy who loved exploring the village. One day, while playing near the back of Aunty Buky's shop, he noticed something unusual. There was a large, old bag hidden behind some bushes, and it smelled strange. Unable to resist, he went closer and peeked inside. To his horror, he saw something that looked like a human hand wrapped in cloth. His heart pounded in his chest as he dropped the bag and ran home, his mind racing with fear. He wanted to tell someone, but who would believe him? Aunty Buky was loved by everyone, they would think he was lying. Ade decided to keep what he saw a secret, but he couldn't shake off the fear. That night, he couldn't sleep, haunted by the image of the hand. The next day, he noticed strange men arriving at Aunty Buky's shop, carrying bags and whispering in low voices. They looked out of place in the village, wearing dark clothes and avoiding eye contact. Ade realized there was something dark going on, and he felt a strong urge to find out the truth. He knew it was dangerous, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He decided to watch Aunty Buky closely, hoping to uncover her secret and bring her to justice. As days passed, Ade became more cautious but determined to expose Aunty Buky's secrets. He watched her every move, sneaking around her shop to catch a glimpse of what was happening behind the scenes. One evening, he saw her talking to a man who looked wealthy and well-dressed, a stark contrast to the villagers. They exchanged a small, wrapped parcel, and the man handed her a thick bundle of cash. Ade felt a chill run down his spine, realizing that Aunty Buky was indeed involved in something illegal. He had to find a way to tell someone, but he was scared of what might happen if he did. Meanwhile, Aunty Buky began to notice Ade's curious eyes following her. She grew uneasy, knowing that a child like him could easily stumble upon her secret if he wasn't careful. Deciding to keep him close, she started inviting him into her shop, offering him small treats and teaching him about herbs. Ade tried to act normal, pretending to enjoy her company, but he felt trapped. He knew he couldn't trust her, but he couldn't openly defy her either. A sense of dread filled him as he realized he was stepping deeper into a dangerous game with a woman who was far more cunning than he had ever imagined. One day, Ade's father, Baba Ade, fell ill, and the family had no choice but to seek Aunty Buky's help. Ade felt a pang of fear but kept quiet as his mother pleaded with Aunty Buky to prepare a special remedy. Aunty Buky welcomed them warmly, her smile hiding any hint of malice. She promised to help, assuring them that Baba Ade would recover soon. Ade's mother thanked her, grateful for the kindness, but Ade couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He watched as Aunty Buky prepared the medicine, wondering if there was something sinister hidden in her help. Days later, Baba Ade began to recover, and the family rejoiced, showering Aunty Buky with gratitude. But Ade was haunted by the thought of the hand he had seen and the strange men who visited her shop. He knew he had to tell someone, but he feared putting his family in danger. So, he decided to wait, hoping that a chance would come for him to reveal the truth without risking harm. Little did he know, Aunty Buky was watching him closely, aware that he was getting closer to uncovering her secret. Her smile faded when no one was looking, revealing a hint of the darkness she kept hidden beneath her mask of kindness. One evening, Ade overheard his parents discussing a rumor spreading through the village. People were saying that bodies had been disappearing from the nearby cemetery, and no one knew why. Ade's heart raced as he connected the dots, realizing that Aunty Buky might be behind it. He wanted to tell his parents about what he'd seen, but he was terrified of the consequences. Who would believe that the kind, gentle Aunty Buky was involved in something so horrifying? But the fear of staying silent haunted him, knowing that people were in danger if he did nothing. That night, Ade made up his mind. He sneaked out of his house and went straight to his friend, Bola, a boy known for his bravery and sharp mind. Ade told Bola everything, showing him the spot where he'd found the strange bag. Bola was shocked but believed him, realizing the gravity of the situation. Together, they formed a plan to gather proof. They decided to follow Aunty Buky at night, hoping to catch her in the act. It was risky, but they knew that the truth had to come out, even if it meant putting themselves in harm's way. They promised to stay strong, relying on each other to face the fearsome secret that lay ahead. As night fell, Ade and Bola hid behind a large tree near Aunty Buky's shop, waiting for any sign of activity. They could barely contain their fear, but their determination kept them rooted to the spot. Hours passed, and just when they were about to give up, they heard voices. Two men in dark clothing approached the shop, carrying a large sack. Aunty Buky opened the door for them, glancing around suspiciously before letting them in. Ade and Bola exchanged looks of horror and excitement. They finally had proof that something suspicious was going on. They waited until the men left, then crept closer to the shop, hoping to see more. Peeking through a small gap in the window, they saw Aunty Buky arranging strange-looking bottles and herbs on the table. But then, she opened the sack, revealing what looked like a human arm. Ade's stomach turned, and Bola gasped, covering his mouth to avoid making a sound. They watched as she carefully stored the arm in a hidden compartment under the floor. The boys knew they had to act, but they were paralyzed with fear. Aunty Buky was powerful, and the village trusted her completely. If they accused her without solid evidence, no one would believe them. They needed a plan, one that would bring her crimes to light without endangering themselves. The next morning, Ade and Bola decided to seek advice from an elder in a nearby village, Baba Agba, known for his wisdom and ability to see through deceit. They walked a long distance to his hut, avoiding the villagers, worried someone might inform Aunty Buky about their whereabouts. When they finally reached Baba Agba, they told him everything they had seen. The old man listened in silence, his face growing serious. "You boys have stumbled upon a dark secret," he finally said. "But exposing it will be dangerous. The gods frown upon the spilling of innocent blood, and justice must be served carefully." Baba Agba advised them to gather proof, something undeniable that would reveal Aunty Buky's crimes to the village. He gave them a small charm for protection and instructed them to stay hidden while they gathered evidence. With new courage, Ade and Bola thanked Baba Agba and made their way back to Ilupaju. As they walked, they discussed how they would get closer to Aunty Buky without arousing suspicion. Ade knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was ready to face the challenge. For his family, his village, and those who had fallen victim to Aunty Buky's darkness, he would do whatever it took to bring her down. That night, Ade decided to visit Aunty Buky's shop under the pretense of buying herbs for his father's lingering illness. When he arrived, Aunty Buky welcomed him with her usual smile, but there was a strange glint in her eyes. "Ah, Ade, my little helper," she said sweetly, handing him a pouch of herbs. But Ade's sharp eyes noticed a small, locked box on a high shelf. He realized it might contain something valuable, perhaps evidence of her crimes. He memorized its location, planning to sneak back later with Bola to investigate further. As he left the shop, he saw one of the strange men from the previous night watching him. A chill ran down his spine as he realized Aunty Buky might be onto him. She was no fool, she could sense his curiosity. Ade walked quickly, trying to appear calm, but his heart raced with fear. He shared his findings with Bola, and together they devised a plan to return that night, hoping to break into the shop and get the box. They knew it was risky, but their resolve was stronger than their fear. The secrets hidden within that box could be the key to exposing Aunty Buky's horrifying business. The boys waited until midnight, then snuck out to Aunty Buky's shop, armed with nothing but a small knife and the charm Baba Agba had given them. As they reached the shop, Ade used the knife to carefully pry open a back window, and they slipped inside, their hearts pounding. They tiptoed to the shelf where the locked box was kept. Bola managed to find a way to unlock it, and together they opened it, gasping at what they found. Inside were small jars filled with powders, each labeled with strange symbols. At the bottom of the box lay a list of names of people from their village and neighboring towns. Ade recognized some of the names as people who had mysteriously disappeared over the years. His stomach twisted as he realized Aunty Buky was responsible. Suddenly, they heard footsteps approaching. The boys panicked, quickly locking the box and placing it back on the shelf before hiding behind a stack of crates. Aunty Buky entered the room, looking around suspiciously. She paused, as if sensing something was wrong. After a few tense moments, she left, muttering to herself. Ade and Bola waited until they were sure she was gone, then slipped out, shaken but relieved to be safe. They now had the proof they needed, but would it be enough to convince the village? The following day, Ade and Bola shared their findings with a few trusted adults, including Baba Agba and Bola's father, a respected man in the community. Bola's father agreed to help them present the evidence to the village council, but he warned them that accusing Aunty Buky would not be easy. Many villagers owed their health to her herbs and trusted her completely. However, they agreed that justice had to be served. They decided to call a village meeting, where they would reveal the truth to everyone and present the evidence. When the day of the meeting arrived, Aunty Buky was there, standing calmly among the villagers with her usual gentle smile. Ade felt a surge of fear, but he remembered his mother's words about courage and doing what was right. Bola's father stepped forward, explaining that they had discovered a dark secret involving missing people and mysterious transactions. The villagers listened in stunned silence as he presented the list of names and jars from Aunty Buky's shop. A murmur ran through the crowd as people began to question her innocence. Aunty Buky tried to laugh it off, calling it a misunderstanding, but the fear in her eyes betrayed her. As the meeting continued, Aunty Buky tried to defend herself, accusing Ade and Bola of spreading lies. She claimed that they were just mischievous children making up stories for attention. But Bola's father spoke up, describing the evidence he had seen with his own eyes, the jars, the list of names, and the strange men who visited her shop at night. Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the crowd, and some villagers started to question their trust in Aunty Buky. One by one, people who had lost loved ones to mysterious disappearances came forward, sharing their suspicions and linking them to her. Aunty Buky's calm demeanor began to crack. Her face twisted with anger as she realized that her secrets were being exposed. Just as she was about to lash out, Baba Agba stepped forward, holding up a charm he had blessed for protection. "The truth cannot remain hidden forever," he said firmly. "Justice will always find its way." With the villagers now turning against her, Aunty Buky made a desperate attempt to flee, pushing through the crowd. But the villagers, fueled by anger and fear, closed in on her, demanding answers for the harm she had caused. In a final act of defiance, Aunty Buky hissed at the crowd, calling them fools who would never understand her business. She sneered at the villagers, saying that they had always been easy to manipulate, blinded by their desperation and trust. She confessed to selling human parts to wealthy city dwellers, who paid her handsomely for rare and special remedies. The crowd gasped, horrified by her cold, ruthless words. The people who had once seen her as a healer and friend now stared at her in shock and disgust, unable to believe that she had betrayed them so deeply. Seeing that there was no escape, Aunty Buky began to cry, but her tears were not of remorse. She cried out of frustration, angry that her carefully constructed facade had crumbled. The villagers, outraged by her lack of remorse, dragged her to the village chief, demanding justice. The chief, who had once respected Aunty Buky, felt a deep sense of betrayal. He ordered her to be held under guard until they could decide on a punishment fitting for her horrific crimes. As she was led away, Aunty Buky's reputation was shattered, her name forever tainted by the darkness of her actions. Days passed, and the village was heavy with sorrow and anger. People struggled to accept that someone they had trusted could be so heartless. The village elders gathered to decide Aunty Buky's fate. They knew that her punishment had to be severe enough to restore peace and trust within the community. After much deliberation, the elders announced that Aunty Buky would be exiled from Ilupaju, forbidden to return under any circumstances. She would live the rest of her life in solitude, away from the people she had harmed, carrying the weight of her actions. As the villagers prepared for her exile, Aunty Buky sat alone, her once proud face now hollow and filled with bitterness. She knew that she would never be forgiven, not by the village, not by the families of those she had wronged, and certainly not by herself. In her solitude, she would have nothing but her regrets to keep her company. Ade, Bola, and their families watched as Aunty Buky was led out of the village, her head bowed in shame. Though justice had been served, a somber feeling remained in the hearts of the villagers, a reminder of the pain she had caused. With Aunty Buky gone, the village began to heal, but the scars of her betrayal ran deep. Ade and Bola became quiet heroes in the eyes of the villagers, their bravery praised and celebrated. People recognized that it was their courage that had exposed the darkness hiding in their midst. Baba Agba, proud of their determination, reminded them that their actions had saved countless lives, for Aunty Buky's crimes would have continued had they not uncovered the truth. Ade felt a mix of pride and sadness, knowing that he had lost someone he had once trusted, but he was grateful that he had helped bring peace back to Ilupaju. The village elders held a special ceremony to cleanse the community of Aunty Buky's evil. They prayed for the souls of those she had harmed and asked for protection against any future darkness. The villagers came together, sharing stories of loved ones and finding comfort in each other. For Ade, this ceremony was a healing moment, a way to let go of the fear and pain he had carried since discovering Aunty Buky's dark secret. The village found unity in their shared sorrow, and life slowly returned to its peaceful rhythm. As time passed, Ade and Bola resumed their normal lives, though they remained close friends, bonded by the experience they had shared. They learned to appreciate the importance of courage and integrity, understanding that sometimes, doing the right thing came with great challenges. Ade, inspired by his journey, began learning about herbs from Baba Agba, determined to use knowledge for good, unlike Aunty Buky. He wanted to ensure that the village had a trusted healer, someone who genuinely cared for their well-being without any hidden motives. One day, as Ade walked through the village, he noticed children laughing and playing, their smiles bright and carefree. He realized that the village's innocence had been restored, that the fear and mistrust had faded. Ade smiled, feeling at peace with the role he had played in protecting his community. Although Aunty Buky's actions had cast a dark shadow, the village had emerged stronger and more united, a place where trust and kindness prevailed over greed and deceit. The experience taught Ade that even in the darkest times, courage and honesty could light the way. Lessons: curiosity and courage. Ade's curiosity led him to uncover a dangerous secret, but it also taught him the importance of courage in the face of fear. True bravery is about standing up for what's right even when it's frightening. The power of honesty. Ade and Bola's determination to reveal the truth teaches that honesty is essential for justice and healing. By facing the difficult truth, they saved others from harm. Trustworthiness and responsibility. The betrayal by someone as trusted as Aunty Buky showed the importance of choosing leaders and healers with genuine integrity.